Jey Uso on Monday Night Raw. What on earth is happening? What does this mean, and why does it have a major WrestleMania 40 implication to it? We're getting into it. It's Sportskeeda Wrestling. I'm Kevin. Hit the like button, get into the comments below, and sound off. You haven't subscribed yet? Come on, let's do that. At Payback 2023, Cody Rhodes made a groundbreaking announcement on the Grayson Waller effect that main event Jey Uso is the newest member of Monday Night Raw. This comes a little less than a month since Jey announced that he was quitting WWE for good.
I'm out of WWE! Deuces! Ooses!
So now we have Jey Uso back in a singles run here, away from the bloodline, away from Roman Reigns. And what does this mean, though, for his brother, Jimmy Uso, the bloodline, all of it leading into WrestleMania 40, where some people think something big is going to happen with all the names I've already mentioned. Jey Uso had the crowd in the palm of his hand when he returned with his new theme song saying, "Just me Us, day one-ish." The hype is real, and you should be excited about this newest addition to the roster. Not only does this give Jey Uso a chance to shine on his own as a singles competitor, we can now see a more authentic version of him, where he's not associated or playing in the shadow of anyone else. Roman Reigns, we're looking at you, and especially not the bloodline. It doesn't define him as a player. Now he gets to define himself. The dynamic is going to be interesting, though, on SmackDown. Yes, over on the Blue brand, we now have a heelish, subservient henchman, Jimmy Uso, back in the bloodline fold, or so he thinks. And over on Raw, we have a new babyface, Jey Uso, paving his own path. Where do these paths intertwine? We'll get to that. Monday nights now have an established main event player, a fresh one who can come into the fold, have a breadth of fresh matchups, and create new combinations with the likes of Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and maybe even the Judgment Day. There's a lot of possibilities there. Just think of the potential matchups we can see. Jey Uso versus Gunther, Chad Gable, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Drew McIntyre, Matt Riddle, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. You know where we're going here. The decision to have Jimmy Uso betray his brother at SummerSlam may have made a little sense, but at the time it was just a really mind-boggling thing, considering that Jimmy had just turned on the bloodline and now he's back in it. But one thing seems clear. The reason behind Jey's move to Raw is to keep the two brothers separated until an inevitable clash. Yes, a battle of brothers could happen at WrestleMania 40. We're all speculating on it. I know, wild, rampant speculation, but there is some history to this. Take it all with a grain of salt, but it's important to note that Jimmy and Jey wouldn't want a match like this to happen on any other stage. In fact, we interviewed Jimmy Uso a few years ago and asked him about the possibility of a singles run and what it could mean. Jimmy told us that the dream match has always been to face his brother at WrestleMania, similar to Owen versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania 10 back in the mid-90s in Madison Square Garden. A dream match would be me versus my brother at WrestleMania. I grew up watching Bret versus Owen in a cage. They beat the living hell out of each other. I thought it was really cool what they did, and they've been doing that all their lives. That's the same way I see us whenever we get a chance for that to happen. Of course, yeah, the follow-up to Owen versus Bret was an amazing Blue Bar, old school SummerSlam 94 cage match classic. Can Jey versus Jimmy provide the same brother versus brother drama? Earlier this year, Jey Uso reiterated the claim in an interview with Ariel Helwani, saying, "It's like back in the living room, Us. From day one, again, this is what we always wanted to do. I wanted my dad, Rikishi, to be there and be involved as a referee. I just want my whole family to run this thing." Further added, "Just me being against my brother. My heart will be filled with joy, man." It looks like the two brothers are finally getting what they want. And while there has been a lot of justified criticism in the handling of SummerSlam 2023's, the idea of keeping the two brothers separate on different brands seems pretty logical. Long-term storyline booking? Oh, Jey Uso breaking away from the bloodline might be a blessing in disguise for him. There is no doubt that he benefited from being the second most important figure in the bloodline behind Roman Reigns. Yes, acknowledge it. But after 3 years, it seems like the time has come for him to leave the nest and fly on his own. Oh, fly, pretty bird, Jey Uso, fly. There is a proper time and place for everything. Given that WWE and pro wrestling as a whole is going through a bit of a boom period right now, don't be surprised to see Jey Uso quickly rise up the ranks on Monday Night Raw and become one of that show's top stars. Or maybe not, who knows? If he gets hot enough, there might be, very well, a discussion about him versus a world heavyweight champion in 2024. We're just saying, if the guy has the mojo, this Uso could go in there and deliver a big W. Jey stands to benefit a lot more than Jimmy does right now, and he's away from the family, but we can only hope that we see an entirely different side of Jimmy Uso as well. Jey is always going to benefit from being the protagonist of this story, and we're going to get an even bigger glimpse of what he's capable of. It says a lot that there's so much to be excited about, especially considering Jey Uso's already established bona fide Hall of Fame level career. Yeah, we can talk about that. Get hyped because main event Jey Uso is going to deliver something special on Monday nights with a stacked roster. What do you think the Usos officially being on separate brands means for WWE? Can the Usos headline WrestleMania 40, or are they going to be in a different role come WrestleMania season? What do you want to see happen? Get into those comments below. We can't say that your fantasy booking is going to end up on television, but we would love to hear it. It's Sportskeeda Wrestling.